Today we're going to be looking at the MonsterArts Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, Shimo from Tamashii Nations. Let's see if this figure is really worth the $200 price tag. Starting off the size comparisons, here is two of the other kaijus in the movie with the New Empire Kong and New Empire Scar King. As you can see, Scar King is posed a little bit, but she is taller than both. When he's standing straight up, he's taller than her, which, once again, isn't quite accurate, but I think Kong looks really swell next to her. I think he looks tiny, and that's absolutely what I want. I think this is actually probably the only scaling that's actually correct. Next up, from the New Empire line, we've got Godzilla Evolved, which I'm going to say it, even though her size does admittingly kind of change throughout the movie, they don't really get her consistent. I think she is too tiny here. I think Godzilla should be a little bit smaller. I think she should actually be about right there. But for what it's worth, I think where she's at right now looks well enough. She's definitely long as well. Look at her and Godzilla. She dwarfs Godzilla. So it's still a good match, although I do think she could maybe even be a little bit bulkier. Looking at MonsterArts Shimo with some of my other large-scale, super articulated figures, we've got the MonsterArts Mecha King Ghidorah Decisive Battle version and the Figuarts Ultraman King of Mons. Boy, even though she might be shorter, does she look pretty big next to King Ghidorah. I'm gonna be real. She is, however, outweighed by King of Mons, still being probably the heaviest articulated kaiju in my collection. Here she is next to the MonsterArts Orthochromatic Shin Godzilla and one of my favorite figures in my whole collection, the Figuarts Shin Koho Seiho Ultraman 66 or Ultraman Hayata. I love the way that she makes the Ultramen look so tiny. I love it. And, fun fact, Shin Godzilla, at least orthochromatic, is still heavier than this Shimo here. Finally, here she is compared to the Robot Spirits, Thrice Upon a Time, Evangelion Unit 8, and a bunch of numbers that we don't need to add here, and the Tamashii Nations store exclusive Japan version of the Super Saiyan 2 Son Goku. Starting off with looking at the figure here, she is very, very nice looking. Very, very nice, especially in the best sections of her. She is awesome looking. A lot of people from the promotional photos thought that this figure was just going to be plain white like the Playmates figure, and what do you know, it ended up not being like that. I did coincidentally call that right when she came out. I did say that in the live stream way back when. I knew she was going to be reflective, and it turned out to be the case. Also, the underside has highlights. She's kind of got like a yellow, she's got some blues. She looks really pretty when it's really done. You can see this one actually has a little bit uneven from the body, so you know, there's still those Tamashii paint app issues, but man, the sculpt is so nice with that paint. It looks good. And here she's got these blue highlights. It looks nice. And that is done. This isn't just highlights. So how this figure works is it's a clear blue mold with the white, and then the white base paint, and then the pearlescent color painted on top of it, and then on the inside of the body it is silver, kind of like if you have an X Plus or a Safubi figure. It makes it look reflective, and that gives the whole body the look it does. It is very nice. Definitely more than just straight white, so it does not look like a Playmates figure. Thankfully, it ended up not turning out like that. You can see it here on the tip of the tail. The Thagonizers look pretty plain, we'll be honest. So do the crystals on the body. It's not a bad thing, because as you can see in my lighting, they kind of look darker, kind of powered down, and that's all, you know, it's just going to depend on your background. If you got a completely white background, it's going to make these look brighter, you know, and then obviously you can shine a light through it. I'll take a little clip of that and show that right here. Okay, so as you can see, the light shines through all parts of the body, but it is very, very nice. This is obviously, I don't want to have to say it as many times as I did in the Scar video, but we're going to say it. This is based off of concept art and not the CGI models. This is accurate to one of the photos, one of the profile photos of the character that they used. Thankfully, in hand, I feel like the face isn't as long as it looks like in the promotional photos. I do feel like there's like between the eye and the crown here, they could have shortened it by like 1 or 2%, and then the snout actually just needs to be cut it off and then round it out, give her like a snub nose, and it would probably actually look really, really nice for, you know, if you care for accuracy. But she is definitely not accurate, you know, but she's still, I think she looks wonderful. I'll be honest. I'm a really big fan of this figure and how she looks on the shelf. She looks awesome. Just kind of sitting here looking badass, the queen of the kaiju, the first kaiju. So I wanted to make sure that I made an extra section just for the paint durability, because that's something that a lot of people have taken issue with, and I do understand that. This is a very expensive figure. So, you know, both of these dots here, one of them came right out of the box. I think that small one right there, that one happened earlier when I was taking photos trying to get her to stand on her hind legs. That joint got loose and it kind of bumped itself. The paint is easy to chip, if, you know, and kind of out of the box, you kind of get it. You can see a little small one right there. That is true. There's no denying that. So, you know, some of it, most of it is very understandable, but at the same time, with how this is painted, I can personally be a little bit okay with it and can accept that it's just going to happen, because I'm going to articulate this figure. I'm going to pose this figure. I'm going to play with this figure a little bit at least. I like it. I like the effect that the paint has. I know it's not everyone's most favorite thing, and that's understandable, but for me personally, it doesn't bother me as much, because it was something, as soon as I saw what, you know, the chrome, the pearlescent paint and the silver on the inside for the chrome, I knew it was going to be easy to chip. It's not as easy, or at least my copy isn't as easy chippable as others. I could definitely throw a coin at mine and I don't think it would chip that easy, but I bet if I brought the metal cooler and sat it here on the shelf and threw a coin at metal cooler would probably chip as well. Okay, so the articulation, it's pretty good and kind of not all at the same time in some areas. So her head / neck has a ton of range. She can look pretty far down. Now, of course, like I said, when you stand her up, if you can get her to balance, you can actually have her look down. So she's always going to be looking a little bit up. So just so you're aware, but she can look all the way up. Twist and turn. Can cockeye her a little bit like she's a dog not understanding something, being very cute. She kind of is like a big dog. Mine, admittingly, the mouth doesn't open. I know a lot of, well, it kind of did that time. And the tail articulates too, but mine is all it's kind of stuck a little bit. But the mouth opens up kind of wide, not enough. I also feel like, you know, if they had some membranes in here, just to kind of, you know, make the jaw not go as far back, she'd probably look a little bit better. It's a little disturbing seeing how far that jaw joint looks. Okay. So let's do the waist joint. So as I kind of said, this joint on my unboxing was having trouble popping off once I moved it. Once I actually got it back in a little bit ago, now it is stuck. So assume that this joint, when it's not as tight, has most of the range that these other joints have, which is, well, as you can see, kind of all these two front ones are tight, but she can curl up kind of like a cat, then she can flatten out. She can, basically, when you get her up there with the tail, she could technically stand up on her hind legs if you can balance her out, which we'll just take a look at the tail real quick and we'll get to the legs. Tail's pretty good. I like to be a little gentle with it. It's a little tight, but it can start to curl in. can curve up a little bit. You can give it kind of that Godzilla swoop, but it's not long enough to truly do that. And then the thagonizers, all around ball joints. I've had one pop off on me, and only one so far. I really, honestly, I don't mess with them. I don't really think you need to. So for the legs, we're gonna just look at one side here because they're both the same. They can kick out really far, more than I thought they would, which is nice. Like I said, if you want to balance her on her hind legs, these back legs having as much articulation as they do is super helpful for that. They can kick pretty far forward. They can actually go really far back. Both knees in place work well. She can actually crouch. This top one, as you can see, it doesn't have a lot of range. Oh man, these two joints are so loose. And then she's got a toe hinge. It's not very effective, and honestly, unlike the Haya, her toes don't have joints, and I really wish they did. I know with these feet it wouldn't technically look the most correct, but I do wish she had toe joints like -1. I'll admit it, Haya, they got her there, man. They got her there. The toe joints were impressive. They can kick forward. These front ones can kick forward that much. You can actually kind of start to see the joint a little bit. They can go back that much before you start bumping into things. They can kind of twist. It's a little tight. The elbow can bend that much. Pretty good. And when you are articulating this is a sleeve. Just be careful when you articulate it too far down that it doesn't catch the edge of the vinyl. So that's kind of, or the elbow piece, to just kind of shift it to make sure it works. These wrist, quote unquote, joints can work a little bit better. They get a lot of pivot, go far. They don't really go up. And then there's supposed to be a toe hinge, but the front ones don't really move on mine, like the back ones. So it's kind of like when the legs and a lot of the joints, they're similar, and then in other joints, they are lacking. So she's got pretty good range, not the most impressive, but more than I was expecting, I'll be honest. And it's a good look for Anguirus, who will be coming out here in the future. So pretty good range. Could it be better? Could there have been better choices? Absolutely. But I still think, for me at least, it's so far I'm really liking it. Now, SH MonsterArts Shimo does come with an accessory. It is for the Kong, and regrettably, I like this head and I don't like this head. This originally came with the event exclusive 2021 Kong from 2022, but they somehow, it just doesn't hit as hard as that one did. I don't know what it is. The eyes kind of aren't the most even. They're both kind of looking over, but this one's kind of pointing more in. This one's kind of pointing more down. It's very weird. The teeth are yellow, which just here on one of the base heads, that's not the same color. And as you can see, it's more of a plasticky color. The beard looks good, but, and then I do like the face maybe a little bit more, but like the actual, like the plastic molding color. But like, it looks so much different. It looks so different than the other ones. And then it's painted completely different. It's just, it's a weird choice. It's a weird choice, Tamashii. I'll admit, it's a weird choice. We'll see how the last one with Suko and Mothra looks. So, bye. So my final thoughts for the SH MonsterArts Shimo. Is it worth the $240? No. I don't think so. I think the best way to buy this figure, if you absolutely have to have this figure, if you are a MonsterArts completist or a really big Shimo fan and you don't mind that it's not movie accurate, the best way to buy this figure is wait until Amazon and Big Bad Toy Store do their holiday sales, their Prime Day sales. Big Bad Toy Store has their big summer blowout sale, I think is what they have, or like a fall sale or something like that, which will be probably next year. Wait till this figure's under $200 or at $200. I got mine from Amazon for $213 the day after I bought mine, or technically pre-ordered mine. It went back up to full price. And it's just not worth it for $240 unless you've got money to burn. It's not worth it. It's not cost effective, but you get it for $180. I feel like most people would honestly really enjoy it. You know, you kind of have to look at it. The Mechagodzilla 2021 is $160. And I think even with all the accessories, you know, kind of including the die cast, is still much smaller than the Shimo. The Shimo's huge, okay? It is huge, and it does weigh a bit. They did make her kind of slim, so she's kind of light as well. She's not the most expensive figure in my or most heavy figure in my collection. You know, King of Mons and Shin are definitely still heavier than her, but she feels good in hand. She articulates, and I love it. And I know some people aren't even going to get to this section of this review, and they're not gonna like that I like it, and that's absolutely okay, because it's okay for other people not to like this figure. Once again, I'm telling you guys, this is not a $240 figure. Wait until it's on sale if you have to have it. If not, go with the Haya. It's just how it is. If you know, it just is what it is. You know, it's not for everyone. It's not a necessity in the SH MonsterArts line. Only if you're a completist, kind of like me, or a reviewer. You know, it's good to get these figures, and boy, am I enjoying her. So thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Be nice in the comments. Remember, peace and love, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.